The Premier of New Brunswick, Susan Holt, who's standing by. She was part of the Team Canada approach that went to Washington to stop this from happening. Premier Holt, thanks for taking the time for us. Your thoughts on what we're seeing today?
Well, we're really frustrated and disappointed that President Trump has gone ahead with these totally unjustified and illegal tariffs against our country and our province as the most U.S. trade-dependent province in the country.
I know that more than 90% of New Brunswick's exports do go to the United States. What are the industries that could be the hardest hit here?
Well, number one is petroleum products. The president might not realize that we supply American defense with jet fuel. And if you go to the base in Maine or down the eastern seaboard, those defense planes don't get in the air without Canadian jet fuel. We also supply them with home heating oil and gasoline right through Boston, Massachusetts, and beyond. So that's going to get more expensive for Americans. We supply them with wood products to build the kind of homes that Americans really need right now. We supply them with seafood products, agricultural products, blueberries, potatoes, lobster, crab, you name it, as well as some really complex engineering services and others. And so I think they will see quite quickly that it's pretty tough to have your heating oil and your gas and your fuel to be more expensive.
As a premier of a province now that's going to be hard hit, how have you been able to prepare for this worst case scenario?
We have been preparing since the moment that Trump first opened his mouth and suggested this was coming. We've put together a four-part plan to support workers that may be impacted, to provide relief to businesses, to diversify our markets, and to really tackle internal trade barriers while promoting New Brunswick-made products across this country and beyond. So we need to make sure that our businesses have the working capital they need to get through this. We need to make sure that our workers have access to training and supports to get through this. And then we need to look around to our neighbors, our friends and allies, and strengthen those bonds, because New Brunswick has resources and amazing people that the world needs. And so we're ready to provide those products to new markets.
Premier Holt, I want to bring up a message that was just sent out by President Trump on Truth Social, where he basically says, please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount. Can you make sense of that for us? What do you take away from that?
Oh, gosh, it's really hard to make sense of what's coming from President Trump, in part because he's attempting to put in place tariffs that he doesn't have the legal authority to enact. And now he's suggesting that he's going to put in a reciprocal tariff on top of his tariff. The federal government put out a strong list of U.S. items that are going to experience a tariff coming into Canada as a reciprocity for what the U.S. has done to us, because we're not going to be bullied here in New Brunswick nor in Canada. We are going to fight for our economy and our businesses and our workers, because we have long been a good neighbor, but we can't recognize our neighbor to the south anymore. And so we can comfortably stand on our own 2 feet and engage with our partners around the world to make sure that we continue to grow and work through this with resilience.
Susan Holt is the Premier of New Brunswick, joining us live from Fredericton today. Premier Holt, thank you for taking time for us. Much appreciated.
Thanks very much, Todd.